Let's start. Ayush can join. Okay, so here there are multiple departments are there. So here there are multiple departments are there. So here there are multiple user departments are there. So right now we will be only selecting the departments which are necessary or which will be required to use the master data or use the material. So but in the real time there will be all the data will be required. These are the data for different department. So first one is a basic data. So basic data will contain the general information. So in a bit we will be looking what kind of information it will be having. Okay, so basically we will be having the basic data one. This is required. Will not select this one. And we need to have a purchasing. Okay, so if you are going for any kind of purchasing thing, there must be a purchasing view will be selected and purchasing data should be there. And MRP is basically related to your manufacturing. We are not going to select this one. Next one is our plant or general storage one data. This is also important if your material is related to storage location, or if we are going to store the material, we must be having a general plant data or storage one data. Okay, this is the quality management. It is related for quality QM module. Next one is accounting. So accounting one is relevant for us. This will have the price related conditions, let's say price and valuation class, it will have those information. So it is also important if you are, if your material is related to price, you need to have this accounting one view. So these four views is a must for creating a material master. So right now we will be going to use, so that's why we need to have a basic data one, we'll be having a purchasing, we'll be having a storage one view, we will be having a accounting one view. Okay, this is the minimum requirement to create and use a material. Okay, so now I will click on organizational level. So if you want to save this selection, you can just, here you have seen this default settings is there. Okay, default settings is there. If you select this one and click on default settings, okay, if you click on default settings, so whenever you come to this material create material screen, by default it will select these screens only. Okay, so now I will go to this organizational selection. So here we have to select the plant. What is our plant? Our plant is, I believe we have not created here any plant. So we will go with this selection. So I'll be creating the plants in a day or two. So I'll be creating the organizational structure. Then we can use that organizational structure. Okay. So plant and storage location, let's say this we are taking. So now we can click on continue. Now here you can see this is the material master screen is there. So now we have selected this one. If we click on enter, now you can see, because we have selected this four user department as a default settings, now you can see this basic data one, purchasing, general plan data, accounting is coming only as the selection. Okay, now this is only coming as a selection. So if you want to select anything, or you are using, let's say in a general basis or day-to-day basis, regularly you are using these four departments, or let's say 5 departments or 10 departments, so you can select those and you can click on default settings. Every time you will be going here, it will be automatically selecting these user departments only. Okay, so that is for your default selection. Okay, so now we are in the first screen of basic data one. So now here you can see there is a material number is showing, material number is assigned by the system automatically. Okay, now next one is a description. So description is a compulsory or mandatory field. So whichever field will show this tick mark. Okay, here you can see the tick mark, here you can see the tick mark, here you can see the tick mark. So wherever you see the tick mark, that is a mandatory field. Without entering a mandatory field, or without having a let's say value in the mandatory field, you will not be able to go to the next screen. Let's say I have not entered anything. If I click on enter, it will say fill out all required entry fields. So these are the required entry fields I have to enter. So now let's say description, we will take test material. Let's say test material paper, anything you can take. Description as per your material description, you can take the description. For the real material, you have to take a real description. Let's say you are going for any kind of manufacturing industry. Let's say you are going for tree, or you are going for let's say any kind of wood material, or any kind of, let's say, your any kind of material. So you have to give a description as per your real material. If you are taking just for a test kind of thing, let's say right now we are doing a testing, or right now we are just um, like we are just learning, so you can test any kind of learning material, testing material, any kind of material you can, based on your knowledge, you can take. Let's say you are going for any automobile industry, or you are going for any kind of manufacturing industry, there you can take, let's say, balls, bearings, rollers, or castings, or sand, anything you can take. Whatever things are required, you can take. Okay, so description will be related to your material. So now next one is base unit of measure. So what is a base unit of measure? Let's say you are using a material, right? So let's say you are using a material, you need to measure it. Okay, you need to measure it, or how you can distinguish that material quantity. For that material quantity, there will be a base unit of measure will be there. So let's say you are using a let's take an example. Let's say you are using a plastic material. So plastic, or let's say any kind of material, will be measured in kgs. Okay, this is a minimum unit, you can use it as a kg. Okay, let's say if you are going for a gold can be measured as a gram. Okay, gram or milligram gold can be measured in that. Let's say you are going for any kind of, let's say, any other material, standard unit will be kg. So this unit, based on this unit, let's say I'll be saying as kg. So this unit will be used to measure this material. Okay, let's say this material is coming to your warehouse, or this material is getting issued from your warehouse. So how you are going to issue it? Based on the base unit of measure, you can use it. Okay, there are different units of measure are there, but this is the by default unit of measure. Okay, if you are not having any other order unit, or any other units are there, so what are the units of measure are there, we will be looking into it in a bit. So there are different units of measure are there, we can see it. So if there is nothing is there, you have to define, at least you have to define a base unit of measure, based on which your material needs to be let's say measured. Okay, so this is the base unit of measure. Next one is material group. So what is a material group? So similar to our material type, we can distinguish, or we can classify the material based on the material group. Okay, so why we need a material group again? Let's say I am using a raw material, right? Material type, I have taken a raw material. Now, raw material can be anything. Let's say I'm creating a plastic material. Okay, I'll be manufacturing a plastic material. So the raw material will be a plastic material, right? So plastic will be the raw material. Let's say I'll be creating a glass material, I'm creating a windshield, or I'm creating a, let's say, mirror or anything. So what is the raw material will be there? Glass material will be a raw material. Let's say I'll be creating, or I'll be manufacturing a tire material, so rubber will be my raw material. Okay, so let's say I'm using any kind of let's say steel material, or let's say steel sheets. Let's say I'm creating any kind of let's say automobile parts, or I'm creating a, let's say, bike parts. So let's say for that one, your raw material will be a steel sheet you will be needing. So here you can see there are multiple types of material are there. Okay, so based on that, you can define the material group also. Okay, let's say I'll be saying steels as a material group, I'll be saying rubber as a material group, I can say plastic as a material group. Okay, so based on the plastic, based on the material group plastic, there will be some plastic kind of materials will be there. There will be, let's say, some ABS material will be there. There will be some carbon fiber material will be there. So these are in the plastic group. Okay, so let's say if I go for steel, there will be some HSS steel will be there. There will be some HS steel will be there. There will be some stainless steel sheets will be there. So these are the steel materials. Okay, so these kind of material group. So material group we can define based on our usage, based on our material type function. We can further classify the material in the material groups. Okay, but here in the this material group don't have that much of, let's say, significance in our material type control function. Means it doesn't control anything, but it will give you a classification of the material. Able to understand material group? Okay, so material group will classify the material, but it will not have any kind of, let's say, control function, or it will not control any of the, let's say, procurement of this material or selection of material. It will not control anything for MM side. Okay, this is not for MM side. So we are just distinguishing between the material type, distinguish between the materials in the material group for the further subdivision. Okay, and this can be helpful for the, let's say, for the finance side it can be helpful. Okay, how this can be helpful? Let's say I'm having a raw material type, I'm having a raw material type. Let's say I want to see what, how much raw materials I have consumed, what is the price of raw materials I have consumed. Okay, so if I go to the price of raw material, I will find out like what ROH material is there, how much ROH material is there, and how much ROH material I have given a purchase order, or I have received that product, I will see. Okay, then inside that what will happen? Let's say your company or your management is saying, no, I need to know how much plastic material I have consumed, or how much, let's say, steel material I have consumed. Okay, what is the price for the steel material that I have consumed for this year? So you can distinguish that based on the material group. So this can be helpful for the finance side. Okay, and this is not very much of relevance for us, but this is a mandatory field in the material master. Okay, now there are already by default material groups are there. If you want to select those material group, you can just click on this lens button is there. Okay, just click on this. You can see these are the material types are there already, these are created. So alchem material group, these are some people have been created. So by default will be from, okay, so I believe most of the things have been changed, because material group will normally it will start with this 0001, 0002, likewise it will have. Okay, so okay, so till it starts, we will be looking into the other things. Okay, so now these are the material groups. So these material groups are not standard one. These have been created by someone. Okay, so we will see what are the default group, how you can see the default groups. So now if you want to create a new material group, how you can create a new material group? Now for that one, you have to go to, so here you can go to reference IMG, here you can go to logistics general, here you can go to material master, here you can go to setting for key fields, here you can see define material groups are there. Okay, just click on this one. So here you can see these are the material groups are there. Okay, so you can define a new material group, you can go to new entries, you can create a new material group. So there are no control function, nothing is there, this is just for information. So you can create a new material group. Okay, so this is the offline server, we can go to SPRO. Here we can go to reference IMG. Here we can go to logistics general. Here we can go to material master, settings for key fields, define material groups. So here you can see these are some of the standard material groups. So 0001 is there, 0002 is there, 0003 will be there, 0004 will be there. So these are the 3-digit material group. Basically there will be 3-digit material groups will be there. So these are the standard material groups are there. Okay, and others are created by someone. Okay, let's say this one 0008, 0009, 010. These are the standard material groups are there. Okay, so if you want to create a new material groups also, you can create on new, click on new entries and you can create a new material group. So here let's say we want to create a new material group, we'll go to new entries. What is the material group? Let's say ZP01 we will take, and we will be take the description as let's say paper material. Okay, just hit enter, save this one. Okay, just save this one. Now if you go to the material master screen, here if you see, let's say what we have seen, ZP01 we have seen, enter. Okay, just hold on a second. Okay, so in the basic data one, because I hit enter after the mandatory field, it took me to the next screen. Okay, so now this is the base unit of measure, this is the material group. Okay, and this is the old material number. Okay, what is the old material number? Let's say you are using the material in the ERP system or in your legacy system before you are using that material number. Let's say you are having a old material number, means for your previous softwares or previous systems you are using a other material number, so you can use this old material number for the previously used material number, you can mention it over here. External material group, so you can create a external material group. Let's say your vendor is having a material group, so you can define that external material group also here. So these are not relevant, but sometime you might face some of the issue, or let's say you might have to use these fields. Okay, let's say you are working in an implementation project, and let's say you are creating a new number range. Okay, let's say you are creating a new number range, but your customer is saying, okay, so right now if you create a new number range, our workers will find trouble or find difficulty to work with them, and we want to have the old material number ranges. Okay, if that possible, so you can use it, but mostly what will happen, you have to create that number range by manually, you have to feed that number range. So might be it will be not possible or something like that. Let's take an example, or let's assume it is not possible. So you can suggest, okay, here we will be having the current material number or whatever the material number is in SAP. So if you want to take any other number range, you can mention it over here. Okay, old number range. So sometime what will happen, let's say your client is using 3 4 systems. Okay, 3 4 systems they are using. So let's say they are only converting one system to the SAP, rest of the system they will be working on the previously used system. Let's say your manufacturing will have a system, let's say your warehousing people they will be having a different system. If they are acquainted or they are used to um, with the system, so they will be not going to let's say they will be registered with using the SAP unless they are finding it simple than the previously used system. Okay, sometimes it is difficult, so there will be a lot of reasons will be there where you need to know what is the field let's say significance is there, why we are using, where we can use it. Okay, so old material number you can use it for if you are using a previously material number in your previously used system, so you can have that reference here also. External material group, that is your, let's say if your vendor is having a different material group, so you can mention that one, so that it will be helpful for your vendors also to know that okay, this is the material group from which we have to issue the product or we have to send the product. Okay, now next one is our division lab office, this is not relevant. Next one is here cross plant, X means cross plant material status. Let's say you want to block this material for procurement or for any kind of thing, you want to block it, you can block it over here. You can go to the drop down here, you can click on this one. Here you can see this is for design and plan, use, phase out, obsolete, or this is blocked. So any kind of reason you can give over here. Okay, so for any kind of reason you can mention this is for the, this is blocked for design, or this is blocked for procuring, or this is blocked for manufacturing, any kind of things you can mention over here. If you mention this cross plant material status in the basic data tab, it will act for all of the department, whichever plans or whichever things will be there, it will act for everything. Okay, okay. So now this is all about our general data. So this general data will be for your client label. Okay, this will be stored in your client label or general data for this material. And again, you can create your material for different department. But this information will be there, or this information is a by default information which will be needed when you are creating a material. Okay, then next one, here you can see some dimensions are there. If you are having a WM integration is there, so you can have this dimensions or EAN, these kind of fields you will be having, you will be marking this, because this will be having a gross weight, net weight, volume. Based on this you will be storing the product. Let's say there will be warehouse will be there, in the warehouse there will be some rack will be there where you will be putting the product. So based on this weight, gross weight, net weight, volume, so based on size, dimension, based on this you will be able to keep these products. Okay, you can distinguish or you can maintain, you can classify a storage type, or you can classify where your material needs to be stored. Based on this you can define it. Okay, next one is EAN and UPC. So basically EAN and UPC is basically it is a number. Likewise, we are having ISO numbers, we are having some IS numbers, right? So similarly, every product will be having a EAN or UPC number. Okay, this is called I believe international or European article number or something like that, EAN. So this is basically, it is an international organization. Yeah, Poonam, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, if we are maintaining the weight here, and
Mm-hmm.
in the retail industry and other industry, we are procuring the material.
Mm-hmm.
So the time of the procuring the material, so we need to purchasing that weight only, or we
No,
can.
no, no. This is only for your storing. Let's say I have a material, I'm purchasing a material. Uh, Okay, let's take an example. Let's say I am buying a material of steel sheet. Okay, steel sheet I am purchasing. So one steel sheet, here you have mentioned like steel sheet will be measured in kgs. Okay, let's say it will be in kg, but it is a like how you are going to procure or purchase based on this kg unit or any other unit we will be seeing in a bit. So based on this unit we will be measuring our product. Okay, now I procure that material, I have to store it. Okay, let's say I have to store it. Let's take an example of your kitchen. Okay, let's say anyone can see your household kitchen. So in your household kitchens you are having different let's say cabins or different cupboards will be there. Okay, so let's say you are having a overhead cabin, you are having a let's say below rack will be there. So let's say you are having a atta. Okay, let's take an example, you are having some atta. So atta you will be procuring not in kgs. Let's say you are buying it in 5 kg 10 kg packet, you are buying in that way, right? And let's say some of the masalas you are buying. So any kind of masalas that is coming under let's say 50 grams or let's say 100 grams of masala will be there. So where you will be keeping? So you will be keeping the lightweight material in the overhead chamber, right? Because that will have some less capacity. If you are keeping your let's say rice and wheat inside your overhead cabin, so it will have that load capacity, right? So similarly, in the plants also, in the warehouses also, whenever we procure some material, so every material will be having a different weight unit. Okay, let's say I'm procuring a box. I'm procuring, let's say I'm procuring some mobile. So mobile is having, let's say around 100 grams will be there. So I can store a mobile on the racks. Okay, let's say I am procuring any kind of let's say metal balls, or I will be procuring let's say steel sheet. So steel sheet will be coming in a roll. A roll will be it will be around let's say 1000 kgs or 2000 kgs will be there. So I cannot put that 1000 or 2000 kgs in the rack itself. I can put it in a floor or I can put it in a pallet kind of thing. So that is mostly related to your WM section. Okay, if you are going to store a product or how you can store the product in the warehouse, those are basically related. So if we are having a weight unit, let's say here you are saying that kg. Okay, let's say this is the paper material. Let's say this paper material I'll be buying it in a kg. But while I am buying this paper material, let's say this is on a roll. Let's say on a roll material will be there, and a single roll will let's say weight 1000 kgs. Okay, so similarly I have to maintain this gross weight. What is a gross weight? Gross weight will be 1000 kgs. Okay, let's say gross weight will be 1000. What is the net weight? Let's say the gross weight means the let's say the weight which is let's say the roll is coming over. Let's take an example. If you have seen anywhere, let's say this cables are there, right? The what is that? Electric cables are there. You have seen electric cables when there will be cables will be distributed, means it will be there in the um, electric cables you might have seen, right? So
Yeah.
electric cables are coming in a like they will be folded in a let's say wooden pallet, and they are coming like that. Okay, so gross weight might be let's say 1000 kgs, and net weight let's say I'll be saying 900 kgs. Okay, 900 kg will be the net weight, and the gross weight means the total weight might be let's say 1000 kg with the wear plus the um, wooden material. Okay, so similarly there will be some packaging material will be there which will be a gross unit. So here I have to maintain like this is the weight, this is the net weight, volume let's say I'll be say 100 cubic centimeter or something I can say. So based on this information, my warehouse people will know where to store it. Okay, let's say if this is a higher unit, let's say gross weight is 1000 units, so I cannot place it in a like higher area, or let's say at a higher place I cannot keep it. I have to keep it in the ground level. Let's say similarly I'm saying this is a gross weight is 10 kg, net weight is 9 kg, volume is, let's say, 1 cubic meter. Okay, now this item I can store it in a overhead storage, or I can keep it in a higher rack, or anywhere I can keep it. Okay, so this is basically related to your storing section or for your warehouse sections where they're storing the material. If a warehouse is integrated to your system, then only you are having this information. Otherwise this information is not related, or this information will not be very much useful for us only if we are only using the module. Okay, because we have seen in the module we are having the storage location is the least organization structure, where we can track the product or where we can see how the products are getting stored. So that is not under our scope. If there is a WM module is there, if a WM module is under scope, then these information will be helpful for storing the product. For purchasing the product, you might be using this base unit of measure. Okay, this base unit of measure, and as per your requirement, let's say 1000 kg, 2000 kg, 5000 kg, you can purchase based on your requirement, and this will be the base unit of measure. Able to get my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so similarly, this packaging material data is also required for the WM model. If you are having a WM model, what kind of packaging materials are there, where you can pack the material, how you can pack the material. So all the information will be stored in the packaging material. So this is also related to your WM side. Okay, not relevant for us. For us, only the general data is relevant. Now, if we hit on enter, okay, sorry. So here you have to put the volume, and here you have to put the volume unit. Okay. So now if I hit enter, it will take me to the next screen. This is the purchasing screen. Okay. I believe the time is already up. Okay. We have some time. Okay. So now here you can see the material number is there. Description is copied from the basic data one tab. Okay. Here the plant name, here you can see Juhi plant is there. So whatever things you are maintaining over here, this will be based on the plant only. Okay. So here you can see there is a base unit of measure is there. This is being copied from the basic data one. Here you are having a order unit. Okay. Here you are having a order unit. This is not mandatory, but you can use it. What is the order unit? Let's say you have put this under kg. Let's say this paper material, I am, let's say I'm measuring it by kg. But when I'm buying it, or when I will be going for purchasing it, I can buy it under ton or under quintal or any kind of other order unit. So that order unit you can mention over here. Okay, let's say here it is measured in kg, but it is order in tons. Okay, if in tons, so you can see the order unit over here. Okay. Okay, so it should normally, it will show you all the order units over here. I believe this is not showing because there is some customization or something is there. So basically in the order unit, it will show you like base unit of measure. Here you can see, okay, someone has changed something. Okay, no problem. So here you can take the order unit based on which you are going to order to your vendor. Okay, let's say your vendor is saying you can only order in quintals, or you can only order in tons, or you can only order in any kind of, let's say, bundles, packages, any unit they are asking. You can maintain that order unit, so that whenever you go to the purchase order, by default it will take the order unit over there. Okay, if you are not giving this order unit, let's say I'm not going to give this order unit. Okay, let's say I have not maintained this order unit over here. What will happen? In purchase order, by default it will take the unit as a kg. If you are maintaining something over here, this will be copied to the purchase order, and in the purchase order you can see the order unit, okay, not the base unit of measure. Okay, so you can try this combination. You can just try to see, take a base unit of measure and don't enter the order unit, and check the purchase order how it is happening. Right now you will not be able to see. Once we are moving forward, just remember these things and try to test these kind of things. So first you can take a base unit of measure and you can use it, use the material in the purchase order, and you can see what kind of order unit is coming. You can take a order unit and then you can see what kind of unit is taking to the purchase order. So you can check that one. Now next one is, here you can see variable order unit. So what is a variable order unit? Let's say I have entered this unit of measure, I have entered a order unit. Now I want to see, let's say in some time what will happen. Let's say in purchase order, sometime I need to order in a kg, sometime I need to order in a quintal, sometime I need to order in a ton. So in that case what will happen, I need a variable order unit. Okay, so if you can go here, here you can see, if it is blank, it is not active. If 1, it is active. If 2, it is active with own price. Let's say I am selecting this 1. Okay. So if I select 1 over here in the purchase order, I will be able to select multiple per order unit. Okay. Let's say whatever order unit I want to give over there, I can select. Okay. If I am not selecting this variable order unit and I am not having any order unit, so by default it will take the base unit of measure. And if I am entering an order unit over here, let's say I'll be using a ton. So now what will happen? I don't have a variable order unit. Okay, I don't have a variable order unit, it is blank. So now by default it will take the ton as a order unit. Okay, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now next one is purchasing group. So what is a purchasing group? So basically, let's say in the purchasing organization or in the purchasing department, there will be group of people, or there will be let's say single employee, or let's say there will be group of people who are responsible for purchasing these kind of material. So raw material we have seen. So let's say there will be some people who will be purchasing the raw material. There will be some people who are involved in purchasing of semi-finished material, or let's say some people who are going to purchase the finished material. Okay, so might be this is this is a situation in every company, due to let's say transparency, or due to let's say to have a uniformity across the department, they will be having different people for different um, let's say material procurement or type of procurement will be there. Some people they will be dealing with the service procurement, some people they will be dealing with the raw material procurement, likewise. Okay, so purchasing group is basically, it is a buyer, so who is going to buy the materials. Okay, so purchasing group is already available over here. Okay, these are the by default purchasing group. So you can create a purchasing group. So you can also create a purchasing group as per your, let's say how many buyers are there.